Today we're going to take a look at inverse operations. So when I say the word inverse, that's the same thing as saying the opposite. So I want to do the opposite operation when I'm trying to get my variable in an equation or an inequality by itself. So if I have a plus sign in my equation, then I'm going to want to do the opposite operation, which is going to be subtraction. If I have a subtraction sign in my equation, I'm going to want to do the opposite, which is addition. When I have a multiplication sign, remember that can be x or the dot, or it can be seen with just parentheses with a number on the outside. All different ways to show multiplication. And I'm going to do division. Lastly, when I do division, I'm going to do multiplication as my inverse operation. Okay, so that's showing you all the different inverse operations that you'll be using with equations and inequalities. So if I take a look at these equations, I have x minus 3 is equal to 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my inverse operation. So I'm going to add 3 because I have a minus 3 here, so I'm going to add 3. I'm going to do that on both sides. So I'm going to cancel those out, so I'm left with just my x. And then I have 8 plus 3, which gives me 11. Now, when I take a look at this one, I have 5 plus x is equal to 22. Well, my plus sign is right before my x. So I'm going to leave these guys alone. I don't want to work with them right now. I'm going to leave them alone. With this type of equation, I have to look at my 5 and see whether it's positive or negative. So I don't see the negative sign, which default means it's going to be positive. So I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides because I have a positive 5, so my 5's will cancel. And then I'm going to subtract 5 on the other side. I'm going to be left with just x because that plus sign means it's going to be a positive. And then I have 22 minus 5, which gives me 17. Now let's take a look at these problems. We have 5x is equal to 32. So I'm going to do my inverse operation here, which I'm doing multiplication here. So my inverse is going to be to divide. I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. So now I have 32 divided by 5, which is going to leave me with x is equal to 6.4. Now this is a different setup with this guy right here. We have negative x is equal to 9. Well, we aren't really working with negative x's. We want to make our x positive. So how do I do that? Well, this is the same thing as saying negative 1 times x is equal to 9. So what I now want to do is divide by negative 1. Because my negative 1's will cancel, leaving me with just x. And I have x is equal to negative 9 because when I have 9 over negative 1, it just takes on that negative number, that negative sign, so it becomes negative 9. Lastly, I have x over 10 is equal to 25. So I'm going to do my inverse operation, which is to multiply by 10. My 10's will cancel on the side of my x. Have x by itself. And 25 times 10, which gives me 250. So this has been another video on inverse operations with one-step equations. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact your teacher.